Imagine you spend 6 months working on a given feature. All those mornings, getting out of the bed, heading work, sitting all day long in front of the computer sketching interfaces, handing off for developers. Yeah, you worked hard on that. And people will now have access to your state-of-the-art work. But it turns out, people, they are hating it. Everyone's blaming the bad UX, and you start to think what you could have done differently. You still can make sure your design will delight people, and you're about to prepare your usability test session face-to-face with real users and make sure you understand what you should improve before committing time and effort from your team and from yourself. You don't need much to begin. All you need is love. No, just kidding. All you need is 5 customers for each round, 2 meeting rooms, internet connection, stick notes, a test plan, posture, and yeah, for each one of these items, I have some tips so you can nail it. And by the end of the video, you should be able to set up and prepare the next design we'll be testing. We're about to go through the list. But before, I wanted to make it clear what's the purpose of usability testing. Well, in a nutshell, it is to learn if whatever design you thought for a given problem is easy to find, to interact, and if users are completing tasks with ease. When we talk about testing only with 5 people at a time, it means it's a qualitative usability testing, and the results will be a handful of insights based on the observations of the users interacting with your design. Also, I find it useful to run it just after doing your first low fidelity prototype. If we take a look on a value creation stream that goes from the discovery part to the value creation or the value delivery, your low fidelity prototype should be placed somewhere here. It means that it's late enough on the discovery phase, but before the commitment point, where you still can decide if you're developing it or just dumping it. That said, let's get done with that list. Well, why 5? This rule of 5 is really simple. It will take from 3 to 5 users to learn 75% of the things you should improve on your design. Testing with more than that is just a waste of time and money. And instead, if you have the budget for like 15 people, you can do 3 sessions. Design, test with 5 users, iterate on the design, and do another test. And do it over and over again. With the first user, you will learn a lot. Second user will confirm things from the user 1. User 3, 4, and 5 will just make the pattern more clear, so you know what you should fix, and then you can book another session. Recruiting is something really important. You should know from whom you are designing for, and if you don't, there's another tool you can use like personas. It is really important to have a clear idea of the profile, obstacles, and the needs or other useful information on your context, so you can recruit matching users and take the most out of your usability testing session. If you're doing guerrilla testing, when you go out and test with random users, the concept of random should be random within the range of your target user. Handpicking people in the coffee shop, in the street, or whatever place is probably an invitation to misunderstandings and misconceptions. You can do the recruiting yourself. Tools like Hotjar have features to do so. Or you can also outsource this recruitment with companies like Testing Time, Action, and others. All you have to do is to send a briefing for the profile, the location info, the date, and they should take care of the not fun but primary tasks like managing logistics and bureaucracy, time slots for each person, following up the day before so you're sure people are coming, manage last-minute contingencies, believe it will happen. Prepare and assure legal forms are signed before or upfront, like for recordings, for example. Instructions and every single detail about getting in the building, badges, security clearance, and stuff like that. Arranging gift cards or as rewards for their time. Do not advertise that there's a reward. Never. 2 meeting rooms. Well, let's get straight to the point. Why 2 rooms and not just 1? It's a good moment as well to expose the whole team for users. Spool has a great article on that. I'm gonna link it on the description. Basically, it helps the whole team to empathize with user needs when they are seeing customers in real time. They are not just seeing the debrief you did after some session. Should the team just watch? No, actually, your colleagues next door will have an important role also. This process is described in detail on the design sprint book. Your colleagues will play the role of someone taking notes. There's a framework for that. They will use sticky notes to write for each user what went fine, what needs to improve, or any idea that pops on their mind. So 3 post-its. Then what? After each participant, you will take up to 15 minutes to visit the war room and debrief with the team. After the last participant, you should do an overall debrief. The goal is actually to cluster the main sites based on common learnings from each user. The test plan. Here you prepare the whole session. You can do it in a piece of paper, in Google Drive, or whatever tool works for you. As an overall structure, you should have introduction, guided discussion, smooth transition to prototype, scenarios and tasks, and closure. Introduction. Introduction is the moment you will welcome the user and share some important information, like highlighting that there will be no judgments, there is no right and wrong answer, and what's being evaluated is the solution and not the user. Ask them to think out loud if possible, and also to feel free to stop you at any time with any question. The goal is to evaluate the design and not the user. Guided discussion. A good tip also from the design sprint book is to guide the onboarding/welcoming discussion from generic questions about the daily routine, and smoothly and slowly guide the discussion to the topic of your product or service, and then still slowly but surely getting to the point where the user will face the prototype and the first task. 10 minutes is a good timing to do the introduction plus this guided discussion. You'll be chatting around and you will narrow the discussion from generic everyday questions to whatever is related to your prototype to be tested. In this way, you make sure the transition is smooth, and while you make the user comfortable with this weird session, you can also take some common information to improve your personas. Scenarios and tasks. Then you have to define the task you will use to test existing scenarios. This is the part where you should be really careful. You don't want to accidentally describe the actions the user should take to complete the task. And at the same time, you want to be as clear as possible. If you're too open, the user may lose focus, so realistic and actionable tasks are important here. Take care to not add on the task the wordings that are present on the prototype. For example, instead of having a task like hit the save button to save and close the module window, go for move on for the next step without losing provided information at this screen. There are two main types of tasks by Don Norman and Jacob Nielsen that you can use. Exploratory tasks, which are open-ended tasks with no right or wrong answer. It is good to ask how customers feel about a page, what do they expect to happen before clicking or tapping a button, and so on and so forth. And also there are specific tasks, more straightforward and concrete tasks with a correct answer. Closure is the moment you'll be both announcing and giving the reward for the user. They will be thrilled. It will be a good surprise as they wasn't expecting it. Don't forget to do some pilot tests. It is good to run with your teammates some pilot sessions of this test. The results won't be used on your research. The only goal here is to make you comfortable with the sessions and also find some points where you can improve your script to fit the criteria needed for good tasks. The sessions shouldn't take more than 3 days, just kidding. Shouldn't take more than 45 minutes to 1 hour, and testing up to 5 people is good. Well, now let's talk about posture. Posture is really important on a usability test. You should make sure you are sitting properly and with your as important as the tasks you are providing is your posture. If you're the one conducting the session, you must be extremely friendly but yet neutral. Save your opinions to yourself. It is all about the user. If users ask you questions back, don't be rude, but answer fast and talk your way back to the focus. It is not about you at all. You will be 90% of the time listening and observing, but be aware your body talks. Even if you're not saying anything, your body language might. Even if users are struggling to perform tasks, do not look disappointed. Keep it neutral, and if they are struggling a lot, it is okay to skip the task and move on. Make sure you have enough learning zone why they couldn't perform it. Switching to exploratory questions may help you with that. Don't rush into the prototype and the tasks. You don't need to follow strictly your plan, but make it consistent when you get to the tasks. You can improvise the onboarding, but don't change your tasks, otherwise it will be difficult to debrief and find common things to improve later on. It is okay to have your script as support and cross out what was already done, and you may even share with the user in the beginning, saying that this is your support, and you may look to it from time to time. Do not take notes, your colleagues are already doing it for you, and again, keep an eye on the user, what he's saying, how's his body language going on. It will be really handy on the debriefing part. Users sometimes make questions like, am I doing it right? Should I click here? Is this the right place? Answer them with open-ended questions like, what do you think? What do you expect will happen? Should I apply usability tests for every single feature? Personally, I find useful to run in-person usability tests when uncertainty is still high. Jeff Gothelf recently released a canvas that helps teams to prioritize what to test next. It will put in evidence which hypotheses have a high perceived value and high perceived risk, and then you get to choose which one you will apply which kind of testing. With this information, I believe you can prepare and run a usability test session. Yeah, I think that's it, guys. I'll see you on the next video. Bye!